sometimes you have difficulty in reading the small print and so on. So people will not always be able to understand the information that they need to make the healthiest choices they want to make. So this front of package labeling comes with an ability for people to have more information on how to lead healthier lives. Now, we understand that there was a discussion, and a very important discussion, on how to treat meat. Now, raw meat and ground meat. Fortunately, many members of parliament and many experts and industry leaders were able to work together to arrive at the outcome that we're announcing today, which is a great outcome. An outcome which reconciles the need for people to understand that healthy food is an input into healthy lives, but treating meat the same, whether it's cut meat or ground meat. So there was some proposals to distinguish between the two, but at the end, for clarity and avoiding all sorts of confusion, and to treat the two types of meat equally, we end up with this result, which I believe is going to be a type of result that both the farmers and the consumers will appreciate.
Adam Soos here for Rebel News, and for the last few weeks we have been asking you to go to freethebeef.ca to sign their petition and call for the federal government to back off ground beef. Well, fortunately, I have some good news. We have a victory to report on that front. Last week, Liberal Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos announced that the government was backing off of its plans to put a warning label, the likes of which you might expect to see on a cigarette pack, on ground beef. So for the time being anyways, you will not be seeing those cautionary warning labels when you go to grab ground beef at your local grocery store. Despite the best efforts of the Liberals and their friends at the World Economic Forum to scare you off of beef and have you eating, as we mentioned, soy and crickets for the rest of your life, Canadians are rejecting the fear-mongering and they're choosing beef time and time again. It's a fundamentally Canadian, fundamentally Western, and fundamentally healthy choice. Make no mistake about it, it's pretty self-evident. The intentions and efforts to label and vilify ground beef are an attack on the West and an attack on our ranchers. This is a product that is loved not only across Canada, but around the world. We have some of the absolute best beef, ground or otherwise, bar none. And that's why Justin Trudeau and his friends out east are attacking it. But Canadians didn't buy it. They stood by Canadian ranchers, they stood by ranchers out west, and they stood by Canadian beef. The Liberals never want to be outdone, however, despite having dropped this plan to label ground beef, are already working on an initiative to label foods they deem unhealthy by 2026. But they can rest assured we'll be there to cover that story as well. A good lesson for the government here would be that it seems the less they do, the better off they are, the happier people are, particularly out west. So the next time the Liberals have a brilliant idea, particularly if it's one that attacks a beloved Canadian product like beef, they should just keep it to themselves. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Soos. I do want to thank you so much for signing this petition. It clearly made a difference. These petitions that you sign go a long way to letting officials know how Canadians really feel about these issues. But make no mistake, the attack on beef is far from over. So I'm encouraging you to show your pride in Alberta's beef and beef right across this country. Support a local rancher by letting them know that you are a beef enthusiast by going to rebelnewsstore.com and getting some of our really great beef-themed merchandise. It started as an extension of this petition, but I think we as Canadians really need to do our part to say that we love Canadian beef. So again, go to rebelnewsstore.com, grab some beef merchandise.